Welcome to FedScoop TV and our special series on advancing digital government in the cloud. I'm Wyatt Cash, and we're here today with Gerald Caron. Gerald is the Acting Office Director for Enterprise Network Management for the Department of State. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
That's appreciated. First, I'd like to ask a little bit about how do you envision cloud computing and maybe more particularly infrastructure as a service or platform as a service helping to really improve your agency's operation over the next year or two?
I think it's a great opportunity, especially for us at the department. Of course, we have mandates to do consolidation of data centers and things like that. And what better way to do that rather than take advantage of the cloud and use somebody else's data center rather than our own brick and mortars. I think it really helps us logistically as well. Of course, you know, procurements and hardware and getting it to where it needs to be and configuring it and racking it and everything. The burden's kind of taking off us where we can spin up servers in the cloud quickly and have it in the customer's hands a lot quicker, presumably. So in that way, it cuts a lot of time to get into the technology and the actual technology that we want to use rather than all that upfront work that you usually have to do. So I see some advantages there.
And talk to me a little about, we know migrating your IT operations to the cloud, there's a technical component, but it's also about change management. Tell me some of the steps that you're taking or planning to take to help your organization make the cultural shift that's required.
Yeah, so of course, with our internal things that we have on premise at the department, we have a configuration management change board. We also, what we've done is we've set up what we call a cloud governance board at the department. So anybody that wants to pursue a cloud entity, they bring it to that cloud governance board, and that actually starts kicking off the assessment process with our information assurance, and as well as we have our internal configuration management board, which we're also maturing. So to roll that in once it is up and running, and if there are any changes, so that we know when an engineer makes a change, how it may affect the environment, those can be reviewed and things. So basically we establish a new governance, cloud governance board in order to take on new things that come in for the cloud, as well as we're working on rolling in the configuration management once it is up and running to make sure that that is governed as well for any changes.
Well, terrific. Well, and I'd like to also explore a little bit about how do you see cloud computing helping advance your sort of digital presence, the services that you're providing both to your kind of customers and citizens, and being international, I'm sure it takes on extra dimensions. How do you see cloud helping in that regard?
I think it's a very enabling technology. I think it will help us with our mobile users eventually, and we roll into mobile solutions. I think collaboratively, it's a great environment because, especially with software as a service, there's collaboration naturally built into it, we're just finding ways to use that. I think the big shift is culturally. How we do business today is not necessarily how we'll be doing business tomorrow. I think why it's enabling technology because it just does naturally allow for these built-in features that we can take advantage of that right now if I want to collaborate with you, we're probably sending an email back and forth. Rather now with I'll use O365 as an example, we can work on the same document at the same time and see each other's changes. Rather than doing track changes and accepting them and everything, we can chat while we're both seeing each other edit a document. So features like that, just help a great deal. Reduces time. I don't have to wait for your email back for you to answer something and stuff. So we really see changing workflows and how people work together as a great advantage by going to the cloud.
And how do you see the public seeing that or benefiting from some of that?
So we have a lot of outward-facing things. Of course, promoting diplomacy at the Department of State. So we are looking at a lot of things we have on SharePoint, and we're looking at moving those types of sites out to be an external facing in the cloud. So we're looking at a lot of those things.
Terrific.
To take full advantage of it.
Well, and lastly, what are one or two things, if you could change, would you change to help facilitate a faster adoption to cloud computing?
So that's a really good question. There's a lot because it's new. Cloud's new. It's always called that disruptive technology, and yes, that is true in a number of ways. Understanding, what the cloud is and what it's going to mean to you. For us, we're looking at some cloud entities as an extension of our network, rather than we have other cloud entities that are an environment. You go there to work. But we want to tie everybody in. So how does it fit in your enterprise infrastructure as a whole, basically, is what you have to assess. And that's what we're doing now, is looking at the entirety. What is your solution going to be for your mobile users? How are they going to access the cloud? How are the external people going to access the cloud? How are you going to proof them when they get in? You're going to have all these environments. You don't want to create different usernames and passwords and create different identities for people. You want to maintain their identity. So we've stood up single sign-on as an authentication mechanism for any cloud entity that the department may adopt. So there's a lot of things to consider. It's a different way of thinking. It is a culture change, but I think in the end, there's too many benefits to not pursue the cloud aggressively. And so that's what we're doing, and I only envision good things coming out of it in the future.
Well, terrific. Well, we look forward to continuing to cover the story. So,
thank you.
Well, Gerald, Caron, thank you so much for joining us and sharing some of the insights of what you're learning moving to the cloud with us.
Thank you.
On behalf of FedScoop TV, thanks for watching.